Look what my t-shirt says today. Dinosaurs are cool. Transphobia is not. Sorry if I sounded really far away. If you agree with that statement and you like this t-shirt, you may be able to find it down below in the little shelf of stuff, because this is part of my merch. If you're interested, no pressure. Hey Spuds, it's Jamie. Welcome back to another video. First video on the channel. I don't know, but welcome either way. I'm a little bit sad you can't see my t-shirt anymore. I can't really sit like that. Anyway, the t-shirt is very fitting for today's video because we are back. We are looking at the wonderful, the wholesome, the glorious trans memes. Oh yes, the good ones, the ones that are cool, and no transphobia here unless it's laughing at transphobia or calling transphobia out. But yes, these are the wonderful, relatable ones. I hope you're going to enjoy this video. Really love making these, so let's go. No transphobia allowed. I don't know if the character holding that sign is relevant, if I'm just very uncultured that I do not know who that is, but I very much agree with their sign. No transphobia allowed here. We're all about the positive trans memes and the dinosaurs. Yes. How transphobes think the trans community treats detransitioners. You donkey. How the trans community actually treats detransitioners. Oh dear, gorgeous. The difference in how Gordon Ramsay treats adult chefs and kid chefs is very adorable, because he's so angry and shouty, and then suddenly he's teaching kids to cook and they make a mistake and he's like, it's okay, darling. It's very wholesome. I completely agree. I feel like so often detransitioners are weaponized against the trans community by transphobes and bigots, and that's awful for detransitioners and trans people. I don't understand why that's happening. Detransitioners are not a threat to trans people, nor should they be used as some kind of political pawn or statement or kind of,
well, we've caught you out here, look, we've found detransitioners.
No, they deserve their own support, their own respect, and they absolutely do not invalidate or pose a threat to trans people. There was never any issue between trans people and detransitioners. It's all been manufactured by transphobes, and then unfortunately more recently we are seeing a small portion of people who have detransitioned coming out and saying transphobic things as well. I'm just gonna start calling myself trans for the privilege and living life on easy mode. Me, easy mode? Privilege? What is this? Really? This is why it baffles me so much when people are like, oh, you've chosen to be trans. Oh, you've been trans to be trendy. You've chosen to be trans to make friends and fit in. And it's like, are you aware of the current climate for trans people? Really? Like, you really think people would choose to be trans? It's like, what incentive is there? Yes, please, I would like the discrimination, and I would like a good dollop of gender dysphoria on top of that, with a side serving of difficult to access healthcare. I thank you very much. You know, I chose. I don't want to have the rights of a cis person. I don't want to have the privilege of a cis person. Let me just choose to be. I don't understand where this thought process comes from. Being trans is not something people choose to be trendy, and it's certainly not an easy path in life. Being trans is not an easy thing to be, and most of that difficulty is caused by transphobes, who then claim that trans people have it easy and people are being trans to have an easy life. Where is this logic? You are literally the ones that are causing the most difficulty for trans. Well, maybe that's it. They don't see it, do they? Oh my god. It's not even a monster costume. Believe me, it is. TERF. Well, yes. Where's the lie? Getting dysphoria from my chest / voice / thighs, etc. Oh no, we don't do this. But what do? We get dysphoria from the way my spine curves when leaning forward at a table. That's so specific. Spine curves when leaning forward at a table. I mean, who am I to question somebody else's dysphoria? I'm sure we all have some very niche specific things. Mine's my fingernail on my index fingers. I'm okay with it now, but it really used to get to me. I was like, no. You are not the ones. I don't like you, but you know, we're friends now. We're good. We made peace. I used to have a bunch of other ones that I can't even remember anymore. But yeah, the dysphoria can display itself in some very odd ways that you do not expect. And it can just be like,
Oh, hello, I just thought I'd pop in at this really inconvenient moment and make you decide that you feel specifically very dysphoric about how non-circular your belly button is.
I've never heard of that one. I think that was maybe too specific. But, you know, it's those things that surprise surprise you and can just trigger those moments. And it's okay. Everybody has them. It's not weird. It is frustrating. I know how difficult dysphoria is, but you got this. Transformers, robots in disguise. Oh yeah. Is that Bumblebee at the front? Woo, we like transformers. Cisformers, boring, regular cars. Who wants a boring regular car when you have a transformer? I think that's what it is. I think that's why some people are so transphobic, because they're realizing they can't go anywhere without seeing trans. We've got transformers, we've got transportation, we've got transit, we've got transatlantic flights, we've got there are so many trans fats. Is that a good one? I don't know. We have trans not rights. That's what we want. We want trans rights. What else do we have? Lots of things. And cis transphobes are just like,
oh my god, what can I do? Where am I meant to turn? What things can I use? How do I even travel? Because
everything is trans.
Just freaked out, aren't they? My mum had trouble opening a jar and handed it off to me. As I picked it up, she said something like, yeah, I need a man's help here. So I just looked at her in the eyes, put it back down and said, well, that's a shame, and left. God, that felt so good. Yes. Is your mum transphobic? Maybe, potentially. Or is that how you came out? That'd be a very cool way of coming out. But yeah, that sounds like a very powerful move. You need a man's help with this? Well, I mean, I would open it. I would attempt to open it. That's something I noticed when I transitioned. I get handed a lot of jars now by people. Just like, here, can you open it? So, I mean, I can try. But yeah, good for you. That sounds really cool. I'd love to see that in like a comic or just a sketch in a TV show or something, because I think that would be very, very powerful. I've already said that. You know what I mean? I love it. I'd rather have a cyborg from 2050 living next door to me than a grown man who identifies as a woman waving at my teenage daughter. It's a bit bizarre. I'd rather have a transgender woman living next door to me than a bigot. Yeah, I mean, like, who do you want to share a bathroom with? A bigot who's obsessed with other people's genitals, or a trans person just wanting to use the toilet? Because I know who I'd rather share it with. Who'd you rather live next to? Who'd you rather, like, I honestly do not want to go near bigots with a barge pole, because just very bizarre behavior, kind of obsessive behavior from quite a lot of them over things that don't affect their lives, just being hateful for no reason and very, very, very odd. Trans femmes, ooh, trans masks, ooh. Oh god, don't use duct tape for that. Ugh. Oh god. Whatever you think this is about is potentially probably correct. If you're not sure, then congrats, you're cis. No, I'm joking. If you're not sure what this is about, it's in reference to things like binding chests for trans masks, tucking for trans femmes, and absolutely both things you should never ever use tape for. I believe the specific tape that's like tucking tape. I do not know the most about tucking. There are specific products you can use. In terms of binding, you should just not use tape. Any kind of tape. Any kind of bandages, any kind of tape. You should use a official binder or layering and sports bras if you cannot get your hands on an official binder. But please be safe about it. And yes, nobody who is trans should be using duct tape for anything. Okay? Me, an egg, joking with my friend that I'd only get hit on by lesbians. Friend, they're pre-ordering. Is this a trans woman who's not out yet? What, an egg? A trans woman egg. Egg of a trans woman. Lesbians are pre-ordering her. Oh, I love that. You're being pre-ordered. Wow. I've literally never heard of this before, and I kind of love it. I'm feeling very deadpan. I'm sorry, I'm tired. I will bring back the enthusiasm.
I love it so much.
No, I do. They're pre-ordering. That's fantastic. Let's all pre-order a trans person. But you can be a feminine man. Nah, I frickin' hate this statement. I hate it. I hate it so much. I think I spoke about it in a recent video where I was like, it's actually people who don't understand trans things at all and don't seem to want to, and transphobes who most link gender and gender expression, despite claiming that trans people do that and being like,
you're only transitioning to live as a man and pretend that you're a man because you are a masculine woman and you don't want to do that.
And it's like, no, I could be like the most feminine woman and that would still mean I'm a man. As a trans man, it's not about the gender presentation. It's not about the masculinity, femininity levels in how you hold yourself and who you are and your interests. It is your gender. So no, trans women can't just be feminine men and trans men can't just be masculine women. That is not how it works. Putting on my binder normally. Oh, this is fine. I mean, it's kind of fine putting on a binder. I would never say that putting on a binder is fine or easy or fun. It can be tricky. You can get used to it. There's a knack to it, and once you've found your way of getting it on, you're good. Putting on a binder after a shower. Apart from when you shower, then that's just impossible. Swimming, getting sweaty and then wanting to put it back on. Anything that causes you to be a little bit damp, no. Make sure you are fully dry before you put on a binder, because I did try putting on a binder a couple of times when I was a little bit sweaty or I just got out of the shower and I was in a hurry. It's awful. It will not save you any time. Wait until you are dry. Use a hairdryer on the cold setting and dry yourself off. I mean, maybe not in winter, that'd be very cold. Just wait till you're dry, okay? Because if you put it on when you are somewhat damp, it will just roll. Like, you get it on and it will just like get stuck and then it will go blah, 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 and it's not good. It is, just don't do it. Trust me. And trust this person who made the meme, because they are very true. Very, very, very true. Looks like normal platform boots. Yes, it does. Hides this much height. Oh, it's like the reverse of a shoe lift. A lot of trans mask people use the opposite of this, where it's like a little wedge behind your heel and it gives you a couple inches height. But this loses you like a whole foot and half an ankle worth of height. That's very cool. I mean, obviously you would still be that tall, but it's because you're wearing platforms. Yeah, the height dysphoria is a big thing for a lot of trans people. I had no idea there was a solution for trans femmes to not appear shorter, but appear like their height is not as high as they look, because there is hidden height in a platform boot. That's great. Can you buy platform boots where the platform is hollow? Or can you hollow it out, like just dig it out with a spoon? Sounds tricky. I'm trans.
You're way too young to know that.
Ugh. I'm trans. Showed no signs in childhood.
Real trans people knew since they were kids.
Yeah, seriously, there is no winning. I reacted to a TikTok recently where it was a trans guy who was just like, as a kid, I'm trans, you're too young. And it's like, as a teenager, I think this is how it went. This is how it does go as well, even if that's not quite accurate for the... I'm paraphrasing a TikTok, okay? And it was like, teenager, I'm trans. It's like, you're just trying to fit in and go along with what's trendy. And then like, adult, I'm trans. Well, you should have known when you were younger. And then it's all like, the older you get, the more it's just like, well, you should have known earlier. Like, why did you not transition yet? Why did you show no signs? And then when you're younger, it's like you're either trying to fit in and you're going along with a fad, or it's a phase, or you're just too young to know. There is never a time at which transphobes are satisfied that trans people are genuinely trans, because it doesn't boil down to anything to do with age, nothing to do with protecting kids, nothing to do with protecting women's rights or women's spaces. It's nothing to do with anything other than transphobes do not accept trans people. Transphobes don't think trans people are valid, so they will say anything they can think of to make them feel like their bigotry is okay, and to make it feel like it's not bigotry, it's just something else. It's a concern for another group of people that trans people clearly interfere with. But no, they are just transphobic, which is why none of it makes any sense. How it cannot make sense that kids and teenagers are too young, and then adults and then like older people are too old and should have known earlier. You know, what is it? Are they waiting for you to be exactly 25 years old? That is the only time. In your 25th birthday, that's when you can realize you're trans. Anything earlier, anything later, wrong, not counted. Gender assigned at birth, but I did not understand the assignment. Oh, yeah. This person has they, them in their bio, so like whatever they would have been assigned, because everybody's either assigned a boy or a girl, anything would have been wrong. And they didn't understand the assignment regardless of what it could have been. A transphobic joke. Me trying to enjoy a show from my childhood. Oh, yeah. And it's really awkward when you're just sat there and you're like, oh, I love this show. Oh, well, that hit home. That's not very nice. Especially if you're watching with other people. Especially if you told those other people that you love this show when you were a kid and you're watching it and then something transphobic happens and the whole room of other people are just like, maybe I should look towards the camera. That would have been more effective. Like just staring at you, the trans person, being like, were you offended? Should we be offended on your behalf as well? Was that wrong? What did you think of that? How did that make you feel? Do you still like the show now that it's transphobic? Oh my god. LGBT community. Confused transphobe. Trans men are not women. Exactly. The accidental allies getting it wrong. Trans feminine. This is awful. This is a terrible, terrible pun, but I also kind of love it. Trans feminine, feminine. What TERFs think they are versus what everyone else thinks of them. The Meep.
My chosen pronoun is the definite article. I am always the Meep.
Oh yeah, the Meep, all cute, like, oh yeah, look, everybody look after me, I'm the one being attacked. And then when all things are revealed, it's just like, ha, the Meep
Oh, to hell with this!
actually turns out to be really evil and horrible, and the people that the Meep said were bad were actually not bad. Actually, they're aliens, not people. But yes, the Meep actually, because that whole episode was very transy and like trans inclusive and had like messages in there. I would not be surprised if the storyline of the Meep and the Meep itself was based on bigots of being like,
We're all innocent, and actually we're the ones that are the victims and being hurt, and please save us.
and everybody's like going along with it for a bit, and then you realize actually the Meep is the asshole. The Meep is the horrible one, right? That gets revealed. So very, very accurate to certain types of transphobes being like, we're the victims, and then actually they're really, really not. So if that was a metaphor, that would be so fantastic. Men, women, men. Close enough. That's a very interesting and very confusing toilet door sign. Question, Spuds. Leave a comment down below. Which one would you go in? Because I use the men's toilets. I would go in the one that had men on the door, not the sign above. I don't know why. I just feel like the sign above is the most likely place for an error to be made. Because if you're walking at it like head on, you might not notice the signs above, so you're looking at the door, and I just feel like the door is most likely to be accurate. Comment down below, would you go by the above door sign or the on door sign? So comment, please let me know. Sis, I don't date trans women because I don't like penis. Okay, a trans woman, I have a vagina. Sis, I mean, I don't date trans women because I want to have children. I mean, another trans woman. I have kids right now who could use a co-parent. And not just that, not like a trans woman already having kids, but there's adoption, there is surrogacy, there is obviously like being a step parent, and there are also many instances where cis women cannot have children and cis men cannot have children. You never know who's going to have fertility issues unless they've already had tests done. So yeah, bit of a bizarre argument. Sis, what I meant to say is I don't date trans women because I don't like tall, muscular people. These are all ridiculous, but that is the most stupid response. Another trans woman, I'm tiny and short and I have weak little arms. It's just like, what the frick? Sis, oh my God, stop being individual people. Oh yeah, it's as if trans women are not just cookie cutter copies of each other. There is as much variation among trans women as there is among cis women. Just say you don't want to date a trans person, or you know what, just don't date a trans person. You don't even need to say it, just leave it at that. And if you happen to interact with a trans woman in a dating scenario and you find out and you're not comfortable with that, then just don't date a trans person. Seriously, you don't have to be an asshole about it, you don't have to be rude about it, but nobody's forcing anyone to date someone they don't want to date. That's never happening. Whoa, just don't be a dick. God created man and woman. Satan made gays and transgender. Genesis 5:2. It's actually written in the Bible that Satan made LGBT plus people. I'm not sure it is. Praise Satan. Exactly. Like, mate, if you believe there is a God, which I personally don't, if you believe that, that's your belief. Don't put your beliefs onto my life. But also, if you're trying to tell me that God did this and Satan did that, then why do I care? Cool. Satan. Love it.
I praise Satan.
Is it scary? Says the caterpillar to the butterfly. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely terrifying. Is it worth it? Without question. Oh, this is definitely like a little trans analogy, isn't it? Oh my God, we're all caterpillars. I'm a butterfly. I'm a beautiful little butterfly, and I was a little sluggy caterpillar. I think caterpillars are quite cool, but I would not want to touch one. I don't want to touch a butterfly either. Just any kind of bug. Stay away from me. But this is a cool metaphor. Inspiring. This progressive bully torments transgender students using their preferred pronoun. Transgender teens often have trouble feeling accepted at school, even if they don't face outright discrimination. That's why it's so uplifting to hear about Thomas Watkins, a 16-year-old bully who respects the gender identity of every student he torments. Whether a kid goes by he, she, or a non-binary pronoun like they or z, Thomas calls them by their preferred term and mistreats them just how he would any of his cisgender victims. Yes, Thomas, not discriminating when you are bullying people. This is an article by The Onion, it's not real, but I kind of love it. I don't love it because people should not bully. Very naughty, do not do that. But respect pronouns, that's what you should do. Sometimes people say to me, what happened to your brother Bill? Was he eaten by a whale or shark? Was he munched up just like krill? So brutal. Is this in a kid's book? The truth is that my brother Bill is now my sister Lily. Oh, that's cute. I want to know what this book is called. I'm not sure the whole like chomping up by a shark thing, but you know, it's called You Need to Chill by... It's by Juno Dawson. Of course it is. I love that. This definitely looks like the right one. Yeah, I see it. Was he eaten by a whale or a shark? Was he munched up just like krill? That's cute. Go check out this book. Love it. Wisconsin school district bans pride flags and pronouns. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever read. All right, class. Shit. Teacher wants class hand in the... Oh, for f***'s sake. I would absolutely love to see a transphobic teacher attempt to teach a class without using a single pronoun. I think that would be hilarious. Yes. Is that still in force in Wisconsin? Did that ever actually happen? How was that done? Amount of trans femmes on the internet? Many. Amount of trans femmes in real life? Not many. Amount of trans masks on the internet? Not many. Amount of trans masks in real life? Many. Is this true? I'm trying to think. I know quite a few trans masks, and I know of quite a few. Most are not online, but quite a few are. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's difficult because I have more friends who are trans men, and I know of more trans men just because I am also trans man. That tends to be what happens. So most of the trans women and trans femme people I know of and know are from online or are online. So yes, but I do not have enough information, but this is interesting. I would say like kind of general media. It's a double-edged sword. Is that the right phrase? It's kind of trans women both get more visibility and representation. And if you try and think of like really well-known trans women, for me, certainly a lot more come to mind than really well-known trans men. But at the same time, trans women get a lot more of the like really vile, vicious hate and targeted attacks. So yeah, but this is interesting. What's everybody else's experience of this? Ms. No. Mr. No. A doctor. Yes, because yeah, doctor's gender neutral. I'm a doctor. Dr. Rains. Yeah. I did this too, but I also use Mr. as well because I'd use he, him pronouns. But yes, doctor is a great alternative. If you are non-binary and you are struggling with a, what's it called? Title. If you're struggling with a title and you're non-binary or you don't want a gendered title, then do a PhD or become a medical doctor. Simple. There is also MX, isn't there? Me, when people talk about misgendering transphobes. Misgendering. This is the weapon of the enemy. We do not need it. We will not use it. I can see why people do it. It's always something that's made me feel a bit uncomfortable because it's just that principle of like two wrongs don't make a right. Let's not do eye for an eye kind of thing. You call out what they're doing wrong, ignore them, pose it as a hypothetical of like, look, it's like a name. What if you are called Keith and somebody just decides to call you Roberta? How would you feel about that? It would annoy you. What if you're in a work setting and all your colleagues just call you Roberta when your name is Keith? That doesn't feel nice, is it? But that's very different to then just saying, you're Keith, I'm going to call you Roberta now. I'm not quite as like passionate about it as this meme, but I do think it's easier because like I see where the anger comes from and I see where the want to do this comes from, but I do think it's easier to go about pushing back against transphobia in a different way that is not going down to that level, if that makes sense. Hey pretty girl, can I get a taste of that candy? Okay, this is interesting. Depends, you got any allergies? Any allergies? Because I come with nuts. May contain nuts. Yeah. In order for me to recognize Prince Charles as King Charles, I'll first require 2 letters from different psychiatrists who have been treating his king status for over a year, if not more, stating that he is indeed a king and that it isn't a fetish or a fad or him faking it. Yes, indeed. I like things like this because it really recontextualizes all the bizarre transphobic arguments and makes you just be like, wow, when you put it in another context, it's very strange that this is what's expected of trans people. What gives people feelings of power, money? What happened there? Status. Trying on your mum's sundress whilst you're home alone and feeling euphoric. That is the ultimate power. The sundress holds the key to power. Discord adds a pronoun feature. Oh yeah. Literally everyone in the server you're in has it set as attack/helicopter. That is just the most boring, old, useless, nonsensical joke from transphobes. And anybody who says that, I'm like, okay, well, one, you are stuck a decade ago, and two, I'm just going to ignore you. And on that note, that is everything for the video. I hope you liked it. What did you think of today's trans meme collection? Do you know, I realised I always start these videos going, welcome to trans memes, they're wholesome, they're wonderful, they're relatable, and they're relatable, but not all of them are wholesome. I appreciate that quite a few of these ones were addressing transphobic rhetoric, but from a trans perspective and not actually being said by a transphobe. So I do apologise if I oversold the absolute positivity that may be coming in these memes, but I hope it was still overall an enjoyable watch and you liked the meme collection and you liked the t-shirt as well. Ta-da. Let me know what you think downstairs in the comments. You can give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to, but no pressure. And yeah, as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Much love. Bye.